Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Apopka High School welcomes you to Joe Sterling Gymnasium for game number 14 of the 10th annual Metro versus Florida Challenge, the event that puts the reputation of the Orlando Metro Conference and its 20 public high schools in Orange County against some of the best talent in the greater Central Florida area. Representing the Florida contingency, wearing the black jerseys, visitors on the scoreboard from Oviedo High School, please welcome the Lions. And wearing the white jerseys representing the Orlando Metro Conference, home on the scoreboard from Dr. Phillips High School, they are the Panthers. Let's meet the teams, beginning with our guests from Oviedo, and we'll start at shooting guard with sophomore number 10, J.D. Newman. At point guard, 5'10", junior number 12, Jacob Rose. At shooting guard, 5'10", junior number 13, Spencer Rose. At shooting guard, 6'3", junior number 21, Jason Miller. And finally for the Lions, at small forward, 6'3", senior number 23, Keon Sargent. The head coach of the Lions in his third year at Oviedo, Mr. Jason Valerie. And now let's meet the Dr. Phillips High School Panthers. Starting at guard, 6'3", senior number 12, Abdoulaye Thiam. At guard, 6'2", sophomore number 20, Denzel Aberdeen. At center, 6'8", sophomore number 21, Ernest Udeh Jr. At guard, 6'2", sophomore number 22, Mason Sheffield. And finally for the Panthers at forward, 6'5", junior number 24, Ledger Hatch. The head coach of the Panthers in his first year at the helm of Dr. Phillips, Mr. Ben Witherspoon. The officials for tonight's game are from the Central Florida Officials Association here in Orlando. For those of you here in the arena, if you have friends or family back in Oviedo, back in Orlando, or anywhere else in the world, you can direct them to our live stream at metrovsfl.com. You can find the links to all of our live webcasts and live stats. You can also search for the Metro versus Florida Challenge on our YouTube channel and your favorite computer, mobile device, or smart TV. And good evening. Welcome to Joe Sterling Gymnasium. Mark Barchi, Media Director for the Metro versus Florida Challenge, here along with Neil Fisher from the Apopka Chief, ready to take you through our penultimate game of day 2.
Yeah, absolutely, Mark. And, you know, in previous years, this would be a matchup between two top 5 teams in the Central Florida area and 2 state-ranked teams.
Abdoulaye Thiam for 3 to open up scoring for the Panthers. Pass by Aberdeen.
However, to put it mildly, Dr. Phillips has fallen on hard times.
Hold called against Aberdeen is first, the team's first.
Coach Long retired 3 years ago, and they have not been able to sustain the success they had. We'll get back to that in a minute. Looking at Oviedo, of course, Ed Ketchering, I'm sorry, I can't remember his name. I'm tongue-tied, but they had their coach there for over 22 years. Won a couple of championships.
You're talking about Anthony Long, Neil.
Not DP, the coach at Oviedo.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I mentioned Coach Long had retired 3 years ago from DP. Anyway, Oviedo has continued that success with Jason Valerie, 20 straight, 20 win seasons, 3 times in a row now. And they come back with another team that's expected to make a deep, long run. They do not have their face of their program and their star, Mamush Galloway, tonight. However, as you mentioned, they do still have Kayamo Galloway.
Foul called against Ledger Hodge, his first, the team's second.
Ed Ketchum, yes, thank you. Sometimes the brain doesn't quite work as nimbly as it did. I turned 50 this
Yes,
year.
Ed Kirshner is the longtime Lions coach.
Yes.
So both of these programs getting used to some new leadership.
Yeah, and again, the difference, though, is Oviedo has been able to sustain that leadership under Jason Valerie. 3 straight years of 20 wins, and they have made the FHSAA postseason tournament. So looking over at DP, Oviedo again 22-8 last year, and they are now in Class 7A District 4. Oviedo,
Aberdeen 4-3 from Sheffield.
and Oviedo has only participated twice in this event. They're 1-1. Looking over at DP, again, as we mentioned, not too bad a record for most teams, 12-15, 3-1 in the district, and they were the district runner-up, which meant they did earn a berth into the FHSAA postseason tournament. Nonetheless, under Coach Long, they had a 20-plus season streak of 20-plus victories.
Traveling Lions ball.
So Abdoulaye Thiam, of course, is their face of the program, along with Ernest Udeh. Thiam is a Sentinel All-Area Honorable Mention. Udeh is a Florida Hoops class of 2022, number 19. He's only a sophomore. And they are, Dr. Phillips is 10-13. They've participated in every Metro versus Florida challenge.
Jacob Rose puts the Lions on the board for 3.
And so both these teams are throughout their history, traditionally they are very fluent and efficient in three-point shooting, and we've seen that tonight.
Panthers request a full timeout, or a 30-second timeout, half timeout taken by DP. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to live action here at Joe Sterling Gymnasium. A 6-3 start for the Panthers. All perimeter shooting so far. We've seen the teams try to get to the inside, haven't seen them be successful yet. And a lost ball.
Yeah, Mark, 1 of 5 by Oviedo, 20% DP. Of course, they have the lead, 2 of 5. Both teams, Oviedo has 4 rebounds, DP has 3. So again, we're not even halfway through the first quarter. Nobody's taken, only 2 shots have been taken combined inside the 2-point range.
Block.
So we finally see a 2-point attempt there and gets swatted out of the way.
Checking into the game for Oviedo, Camuel Mims and Max Strickland. And for DP, Caleb Fenelus Williams.
So this is the 10th annual Metro versus Florida Challenge. The 6 of 7 games today. We'll have 8 more tomorrow. 23 games in total.
Camuel Williams for 3, and that ties the game.
Offensive rebound.
Yeah, that was a good bounce.
And again, what the Metro versus Florida Challenge is, each game has 1 representative from the Metro Conference And on the other side is a representative from the Florida contingency.
Abdoulaye Thiam for 3. The pass from Jeremiah Bars. And Bars must have snuck in during the timeout.
Now, all the public high schools in the Orange County are members of the Metro Conference. So if you're not a member of the Metro Conference, then you by default fall into the Florida contingency.
Max Strickland for 3.
And whichever side has most victories after the 23 games is declared the winner. Right now it's a 9-4 lead by the Florida contingency.
Yeah, we're going to have to see the Metro teams really step it up tomorrow if they're going to have a chance. They're not statistically out of it yet, but they're in trouble.
Yeah, need to get put together a couple of victories to start with.
But again, to Scott Williams' credit, so many of the games we've seen, I think all but 3 of them have been competitive to the fourth quarter.
Very competitive. We've seen a number of them going to overtime. We did see one today going to double overtime.
And Strickland puts a little too much mustard on that one, sends it into the crowd. Juno Anisette into the game for DP.
And of course, we saw a very intense 2 different styles within the umbrella of a good defense is the best offense, pressure creating turnovers and points.
Juno Anisette is fouled on the attempt. He'll go to the line and shoot 2 for the Panthers. The foul is called against Oviedo, number 2. Kemuel Mims, his first, the team's first.
And that game was West Orange versus, who did West Orange play? Yeah, West Orange versus Auburndale. Ultimately, West Orange fell in that game, but that was a great game. About 100 points have been scored through the first 3 quarters. And then we just saw Olympia fall to
J.D. Newman for 3.
Olympia falling to Bartow. And that game came down to the last couple of minutes there. Olympia leading for most of that game. Unfortunately, they could not continue their hot field goal percentage and then threw in some turnovers at the end, and Bartow comes away with the victory. And now DP going full court, man-to-man. That, again, also has not changed under the new coach. And I've said it a few other times throughout this event, Mark, but you can really look at that man-to-man defense and see how much the approach of how to attack an opponent on the defensive end has changed with these last couple of generations. Only about 8 minutes of this event, teams have played something other than man-to-man defense.
Push is called against Juno Anisette, his first, the team's third. Lions will get the ball at the sideline. Rose gets blocked. Denzel Aberdeen on the take.
So transition, which is something we haven't really seen a lot of from either team here yet.
Foul is called against number 13, Spencer Roses, first, the team's second. Sheffield will shoot.
So turnovers adding up here for Oviedo. They have 5 now already.
Is that a miss? Doesn't miss yet.
Ooh, 2 misses in a row. Opportunity for DP to extend, to take the lead.
A turnover palooza here, capped off by a DP foul called against Denzel Aberdeen. That's his second personal foul. The team's fourth. Checking into the game for Oviedo, Jason Miller. Offensive charge taken by Ledger Hatch, charged against Jason Miller. That's his first personal foul, the team's third. It turns the ball over to the Panthers. And that takes us to the end of the first period. We'll end it the same way we started it, with a tie. 12-12 is your score at the end of the opening 8 minutes of game number 14 here at the 10th annual Metro versus Florida Challenge. We'll take this opportunity to thank some of the partners who helped to make the Metro versus Florida Challenge possible. Beginning with our title sponsor, St. Germain Chiropractic Clinics. Dr. St. Germain and his team can help you with all manner of chiropractic issues, whether it's a slip and fall, an accident, headaches, and much, much more. Offering the best care in the Central Florida, Orlando area for all of your chiropractic needs. Contact St. Germain Chiropractic Clinic. We also want to thank our friends at Baptiste Orthodontics, bracing you and our community for success. Dr. Baptiste and his team have long been proud supporters of Orange County Public Schools and the Metro versus Florida Challenge. Give them a call for a free consultation on braces, clear aligners, Invisalign for children and adults, and so much more. Visit any of their 3 convenient Orlando area locations, including their latest that opened last year deep in the heart of downtown Apopka, just across the street from Kitland Nelson Park. Visit BaptisteOrthodontics.com for more info today. All right, off we go with the second 8 minutes here.
Yeah, Mark, so of course Oviedo representing the Florida contingency. They are actually a member of the Seminole Athletic Conference, which, as the name implies, that's all the public high schools in Seminole County. They have certainly had their trouble holding on to the ball. 7 turnovers, 4 for DP.
Jason Miller is fouled on the floor. The ball at the baseline. The foul is called against number 11, Chris Wright.
And again, that has offset a 12-7 advantage by Oviedo in rebounds. Both teams have not shot the ball well, as you probably can tell. 31% for Oviedo, 4 of 13. They're shooting 4 of 8 from three-point range, but only 0 of 5 from two-point range.
Jason Miller picks up the jumper from the key.
And DP just a slight bit better at 33. Again, 31 for Oviedo, 4 of 12.
Zigged when he should have zagged. Out of bounds. Lions ball.
So our first turnover of the second quarter.
Foul's called against Abdoulaye Thiam. That's his first personal foul, the team's 6th.
So Spencer Rose there was holding his mouth there. Looked like he took some contact.
That'll, of course, be the last free foul for Dr. Phillips. They'll be in bonus in Oviedo's favor for the rest of the period.
Both teams playing man-to-man. We've seen that almost exclusively throughout this event, not just this game.
Spencer Rose on the pass to Jason Miller for 3.
So now 5 of 9 from behind the arc for Oviedo.
Who shot that? 12?
And we get an answer here from DP on the other end.
Foul's called against number 24, Ledger Hatch, his second, the team's 7th, at the line shooting 2, Jason Miller.
These are the first free throw attempts by Oviedo. So Jason Miller with 5 points now.
We won't go for Sheffield. Rose comes up with the rebound. Jason Miller straight to the hole for 2.
And now we're seeing some back and forth action here after starting off cold. Both teams combined 32 average. Both teams have made about 80% over the last 4 possessions since the timeout.
Juno Anisette gets the basket, and we'll pause for a substitution as Jeremiah Bars appears for the Panthers.
Oh, quick hand there, quick hand.
Abdoulaye Thiam steals 2 for the Panthers.
So you take a look up, and next thing you know, you got a hand knocking the ball away.
Inadvertent whistle. Lions keep the ball at their own baseline. Jacob Rose. Push is called against number 12, Abdoulaye Thiam. That's his second. The team's 8th.
Shouldn't that have been bonus? Mark, should that not have been bonus?
Jason Miller for 3.
So right now, the difference is the 3-point field goals. Oviedo has 7, DP has 4.
Gino Anisette draws the foul. Foul called against number 23. Keon Sargent is first, the team's fourth. Checking into the game for Oviedo, J.D. Newman and Kemuel Mims.
So Anisette with 3 points now. He's 1 of 3 from the free throw line, 1 of 2 from the field. Good job here by Oviedo. Well, it was a good job until that turnover.
No basket, traveling Lions ball. Fouls called against number 1, Gino Anisette on the push. That's his second personal foul, the team's 9th, and it will send the Lions to shoot bonus. But first, Ledger Hatch checks into the game for DP. At the line shooting 1-1, Jacob Rose. He drains the first and earns a second.
So Rose now with 6 points. Two of 2 from the free throw line and 2 of 2 from the field. 3.5 minutes left in the first half. Long rebound there, and Oviedo takes advantage, getting into the front court quickly. Now, of course, this is a game in which both teams rely more on execution and technique than the last 2 or 3. That was flat out up-tempo pace. Not nearly as fast a pace, and the fluidity is much more deliberate.
Sheffield to Poventude for 3.
And there you see part of that fluidity paying off, going cross-court. And Oviedo did not rotate. Very hard to rotate when you pass the ball that far across the court and quickly.
Oviedo foul called against number 2, Kemuel Mims. That's his second personal foul, the team's 5th. Checking into the game for DP, number 12, Abdoulaye Thiam. Newman can't drop the 3, rebound to DP to the corner, short. Foul is called against DP number 24.
Should that not be the bonus? Was that a loose ball foul?
So again, Mark, as much pomp and circumstance and as good as the information looks for this event, sometimes it is
Team control, okay.
the play does sometimes resemble the fact that this is only the second game at the most for all these teams.
All right, so the confusion there was whether that was a team control foul or not, and they ruled that yes, he did get the rebound and then commit a team control foul, so therefore there are no bonus shots.
Oh. Oviedo, or Dr. Phillips has committed 10 fouls, so that's why there was a question. So again, for those of you who do not follow the high school game regularly, as we got a turnover, 7 fouls, you then get a one-on-one. The opponent gets a one-on-one. 10 fouls is a double bonus, which means the opponent shoots 2 free throws, regardless of whether the first one is made or not.
But again, that only applies if it is a defensive foul or a loose ball foul. If it is an offensive or what's also known as a team control foul, then there are no bonus shots regardless of how many fouls are on the board. And here, J.D. Newman draws a foul on the attempt. He'll go to the line and shoot 2 for the Lions. Foul is called against Panthers number 33, Jordan Poventude, his first personal foul. And again, it'll be Newman shooting 2.
So Newman with 3 points. He's 1 of 5 from the field. This was his first free throw attempt. Now he has 4 points. And again, both teams playing full court, man to man. That's a tradition that's stuck in place even with the new coaches.
Newman steals 2 for the Lions.
Mark. So 57.4 seconds left in the first half.
No block. Foul called against number 21, Ernest Udeh. That's his first personal foul at the line, shooting 2 for a double bonus will be Spencer Rose.
So that's the first point scored by Spencer Rose. He's 0 of 2 from the field. Now Jacob Rose was the one Rose at the line on the previous possession. Again, important possession here for DP. They could fall behind by double digits. Negate that idea.
Abdoulaye Thiam for 3 on the pass from Ledger Hatch. And we'll pause for a timeout requested by the Panthers. 30-second timeout called by DP. And with 37.4 seconds remaining in the second period, so far your scoring leaders, Oviedo, it's Jason Miller with 12 points and 2 rebounds for the Panthers. We've got Abdoulaye Thiam with 14 points and 1 rebound. As we head into the final 37.4 seconds, we'll also take this opportunity to thank a few more of our partners who make the Metro vs. Florida Challenge possible, including Elevate Orlando, a civic nonprofit that helps students grow in character and life skills in the classroom, and so much more. They are an accredited elective course partnering with 14 Orange County Public Schools, and they have a 98% graduation rate and 96% post-secondary placement. Join the more than 1,500 students benefiting from their services. Visit elevateorlando.com. And we want to thank Apopka Commissioner Kyle Becker for his ongoing support of Apopka basketball and the Metro vs. Florida Challenge.
So again, Oviedo with a chance to regain some momentum here. DP wants to prevent that momentum.
An interesting choice to take the timeout there. Good block there by Ernest Udeh. Rose gets the rebounds. Lions remain in control.
10 seconds. If you're Oviedo, you gotta go now. 7 seconds. Still dribbling the ball at the top. Looks like they're gonna settle up. They're gonna be able to get in that middle.
And that takes us to halftime. The Lions are on top by 6 at the end of the opening period. 32-26 is your score headed into the locker rooms here in game 14 of our 10th annual Metro versus Florida Challenge. We'll be back in 8 minutes. The Panthers have the opening possession of the third period. We suspect all of the Apopka fans are probably outside, but in case you're in here, 21-7 is the score out of the football field. Welcome back to live action here in Game 14 of the Metro versus Florida Challenge. I know it does fall. That is Thiam from Sheffield to open up second half scoring with a 3.
Exactly what Dr. Phillips needed here, again, to start this second half. This is the Metro versus Florida Challenge, 10th edition, and the Metro representative, Dr. Phillips, a team looking after 25 years or so of state powerhood, looking to get the Metro Conference into some kind of groove or rhythm here.
Juno and a set, 4-2. And we're back to a 1-point ball game just like that.
So again,
timeout Lions. 30-second timeout requested by Oviedo, excuse me.
So again, during this timeout, both teams shot the ball rather poorly in that first half. Defense had a lot to do with that. Oviedo was only 10 of 28, 36%. DP was 33%, 9 of 27. The difference in the score, of course, was Oviedo got one more two-point field goal. They got 4 compared to 3, and 7 more rebounds, 23-16. And then at the line, DP had only 2 free throws converted out of 6, while Oviedo converted 6 out of 8. Turnovers were 10-9, Oviedo with the 10. So not much of a difference there in the turnovers. Free throws, again, was the difference, as was the rebounds, in particular offensive rebounds being 7-4 in favor of Oviedo. That gave them a couple more shots. And at halftime, we had a 2-possession lead.
Miller can't get the 3 to fall. Udeh hustles for the rebound. Panthers with an opportunity. No, they're going to throw it away. Jason Miller for 2.
So again, you just announced the score of the football game here. Of course, Apopka is the host school. Coach Scott Williams is the, I guess, say, mastermind, the coach who came up with the brainchild of this event.
Abdoulaye Thiam for 3 on the pass from Jordan Pulventude. And it's a new ball game, 34-34. So yeah, Neil, as you look around the arena, what you're not seeing is a lot of blue darters.
No, they're about 500 feet to the west, I believe, over at Roger Franklin Williams Stadium. Apopka in football has won 3 state championships. Of course, Rick Darlington was the coach for all 3 of those. He decided to move on last year, got an offer he couldn't refuse over in Alabama. Jeff Ralston, his longtime assistant, took over, and Coach Ralston's done an excellent job of continuing the excellence.
J.D. Newman from Spencer Rose for 3. And so Apopka was up 21-7 when we were at halftime.
So I believe Apopka is 12-1 now. I know they've only lost 1. I'm not sure how many victories.
Rose to Sargent for 2. And so certainly, as most of the Apopka fans have gone outside to watch the game, most of our staff has gone with them. So you and I are still here at the score table, and I think maybe 1 or 2 people to hold the fort down from Apopka.
So moving on here again, as I mentioned, neither team really able to shoot the ball very well. 36% for Oviedo at half, 33 for DP, and that's really continued.
And a set to Thiam for 3.
Just from the eye test, I don't think it's quite that bad. I think the teams are shooting a little bit better, but I still don't think they're anywhere close to 50%.
Rose to Sargent for another give and go.
Beautiful move there by Rose on the baseline to draw the double team, stop and go, and then shoveled it into the middle. And that was just losing control of the ball.
Jacob Rose steals 2.
And just that quickly, Oviedo has a 6-point lead. So again, neither of these teams like to go with that high pace.
Number 12, Abdoulaye Thiam for the 3-pointer and a chance to make it a 4-point play. Foul called against Lions number 10, J.D. Newman, his first. The team's first.
And again, I don't think you need to be a basketball guru to understand that was just a critical and huge mistake. You don't want to foul a player in the 3-point range, but you certainly don't want to foul them after they release the ball.
And so, Neil, we have the rarest of birds. It is a 4-point play.
Yeah, and Thiam now up to 26 points. He's basically, at least as far as the scoring load, 27 points.
Spencer Rose is fouled on the attempt. He'll go to the line and shoot 2. The foul is called against Panthers number 23.
So again, 27 points for Thiam. As far as the scoring load, he has certainly carried DP. Only 3 other players have scored, and that is a combined 13 points. And in the meantime, on the other end there, that was 13. Spencer Rose now has 4 points for Oviedo.
Caleb Fenelus-Williams is fouled on the attempt. He'll go to the line and shoot 2. Lions foul is called against number 10. That's J.D. Newman's second personal foul and the team's second.
So we went through the first 4 minutes, 4.5 minutes or so of this period with only 1 foul. We've gotten 3 in the last 30 seconds. Sargent with 4 points. And again, critical points left on the table there. Of course, you never ever want to leave points on the table, but the thought is if you are, you'd rather do it while being ahead than behind.
Checking into the game for Oviedo, number 4, Max Strickland.
So again, 2.5 minutes being approached here. DP full court. And just a quick reminder, Mamush Galloway, a Sentinel All-Area Honorable Mention and All-South Seminole Athletic Conference first team member, is not playing for Oviedo.
Poventude for 3. The pass came from Mason Sheffield.
And there's where your 2 missed free throws come into play. DP would be playing from ahead now. Little too quick there in the thought process. Probably would have been better off taking a step back there instead of trying to force the action.
Abdoulaye Thiam on the jumper.
So Thiam now up to 29.
Traveling Panthers ball.
And Dr. Phillips is now on the roll. Scored 7 in a row.
Chris Wright in for DP.
3 consecutive turnovers by Oviedo. And of course, when you turn the ball over, you make your job much easier for your opponent to score.
Full timeout requested by Oviedo. And we'll take it with him. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Joe Sterling Gymnasium for the last 8 minutes of game 14. Or what game number are we on now? This is game number 14. Yes, indeed.
So
Out of
yes,
15 for the day.
A 9-0 run by DP has given them the lead. And looking quickly at the stats here again.
Joseph Poventude on the pass from Chris Wright. Nice look there.
Both teams started off very cold from the field. They have brought that percentage up.
Spencer Rose to Jason Miller with the Oviedo answer.
42% for DP, that's 17 of 41. 40% for Oviedo, 15 of 38. So pretty much a push there. However, Oviedo has still maintained the advantage in free throws. They've gone to the line 10 times, converting 8. DP has gone 9 times, converting 3. So a deficit of 3 points there.
Abdoulaye Thiam is fouled on the attempt. He'll go to the line and shoot 2. The foul is called on Lions number 21, Jason Miller. That's his second, the team's fourth.
DP has made up for that deficit at the free throw line in turnovers, giving up 3 less, 17 for Oviedo, 14 for DP. Rebounds are also in Oviedo's favor, 28 to 22. So other big difference. And now Thiam is over 30, 31 for the game. He becomes the 19th player in the history of the Metro versus Florida Challenge to cross 30 points. 10 of 18 from the field, 5 of 5 from the free throw line.
Rose to Newman and 1. The foul is called against number 33, Joseph Poventude, his second, the team's fourth. Checking in for Oviedo, Kemuel Mims.
Oviedo continues to shoot the ball well from the free throw line. 10 of 12 now. 7 minutes left. Oviedo maintains the full court, man-to-man. Actually, this is a press. They switch to a full court press. And DP does a very nice job of keeping their poise, moving the ball up the court 3 feet at a time, just as you're supposed to.
Checking into the game for the Lions, number 21, Jason Miller.
Stop, pop, and drop.
Spencer Rose on the jumper for the Lions.
Spencer Rose with 6 points now. Excellent move there. Stop, faked the shot, then went to the shot, created a couple inches of separation.
And they're going to rule that the harassment against Anisette was a little too much. 30-second timeout is requested by the Panthers. But it'll have to be a full. Right? We has only fulls remaining? It'll have to be a full timeout taken by DP. It'll be their third to last timeout. They'll have 2 full timeouts remaining. Welcome back to Joe Sterling Gymnasium. It's a new ball game, 52-52 with 6:11 remaining. We determined there was no foul recorded because the foul was after the timeout was called, so that's where we landed.
And Mark, real quick here, just talk too. We've done this for every game, but the FHSAA made some changes during the offseason, which does affect the significance of victory or losing here at the Metro versus Challenge.
Yeah, absolutely. Originally, we used to say, well, these games are just almost like exhibition games. Yes, they count on your record, but none of them are district games. None of them count toward the postseason because Scott Williams is, of course, not going to create a matchup that you're going to see again during the regular season anyway. But now that we've switched to the new format, all of these games absolutely do count, and they may count a lot because some of these opponents are tough and may result in big points. Foul here is called against Jason Miller, his third personal foul. At the line shooting 2 will be number 12, Abdoulaye Thiam.
So first off, the FHSAA reduced the amount of classifications from 9 to 7, which means you're going to have bigger districts. Through the last 5 or 6 years, the biggest district has really been 5. You're now looking at a minimum of 7 members. As Thiam again buries 2 free throws, he's now up to 33 for the game. Again, the 19th player to cross 30, actually he's up to 35, 7 of 7 from the free throw line. The 19th player in the history of the event to cross 30. So you have much larger districts, which of course changes the feel. You have more schools to travel to, and the overall distance is longer. And of course you have more teams that you have to compete with, many different styles, and you have to take that into account as far as strategy and tactics.
Gino Anisette is called on the block. That's his 4th personal foul, the team's 5th. So watch out there. You got 4 on Anisette. And we're going to send in somebody for him.
And so that's how the change of classifications indirectly affects each team. But directly affected is we are now going to the same format as been used by the football for the last 3 seasons. In that episode, you have 4 district champions who get the top 4 seeds, and then the last 4 seeds in each region. And there are 4 regions get the wild card. That wild card's determination is based on a point system overseen by maxpreps.com.
Yeah, and that differs from the old system. It used to always be that the champions and the runners-up from each district would advance.
Yeah, so
now the runner-up is no longer guaranteed a spot. You have to earn an at-large through your overall point standings, and that's where every single one of these games counts, whether it's a district game or not.
Yeah, and it counts because the strength of schedule is a prime component.
Held ball, possession Lions.
And through this event, Mark, we've seen a number of teams who appear and look like they're primed to win 19, 20, 21 games, which would certainly boost the opponent's strength of schedule. So both teams with 5 fouls here with just 1 tick over 5 minutes remaining. And both teams have gone man-to-man throughout the entire contest. It's some physical play down there, just basically a lot of hands trying to snap the ball out of the air.
Yeah, and while we don't completely understand the Max Preps point system because that's a proprietary secret, the conventional wisdom is that it's not that dissimilar from the football RPI system, where the points are predominantly based on the win-loss record of yourself, most importantly, your immediate opponents next most importantly, and your opponent's opponents third most importantly, when it turns out how you're going to be seeded at the end of the regular season. It also eliminates the requirement that you must play every team in your district at least once. So you could go the entire season without playing all of your district opponents, and that may be important to some teams, especially now that the districts are larger. They're not just larger in terms of number of teams, they're larger geographically, and that creates some serious travel expenses.
And by the way, Dr. Phillips has gone to a 2-3 zone.
Foul called against Panthers number 21, Ernest Udeh. That's his second personal foul, the team's 6th. And the Lions not ready to play there, so they'll take a timeout. 30-second timeout called by the Lions. That will leave each team with 2 full timeouts remaining and no more 30-second timeouts. We'll be right back. All right, quick break there. On the inbound, it's good. That's Jason Miller on the inbound from Jacob Rose.
And that's perfect execution there.
Yeah, that was a timeout well spent.
Good lead pass, led the eventual score into the basket. Didn't have to break his motion.
Put back dunk by Ernest Udeh.
Wham bam, thank you, ma'am. Oviedo fell asleep on defense, and DP broke that door down. No one rotated.
Ledger Hatch's miss turns almost into an assist. And here a steal by Poventude. What a scrappy game so far. We've got some organized chaos going on at both ends of the court, Neil.
Well, organized in the sense that the chaos...
Loosely organized chaos.
It's remaining on the court. So now DP...
I mean, that is a credit to both of these teams' defense that the designed plays are falling apart as Spencer Rose picks up a Lions layup.
Yeah, again, both teams were finally over 40%. At the break between third and fourth quarter. Neither team has been over 40 throughout the whole game until the fourth quarter, and that's more a tribute to the defense being played than really a lack of execution on offense.
Sheffield is fouled on the attempt to go to the line and shoot 2. The foul is called against Lions number 12, Jacob Rose. That's his first personal foul, the team's 6th.
Of course, both these teams, we talked at extension, at quite a bit of length during the first half. Both these teams have coaches who are relatively new. Ben Witherspoon for DP in its first year, Jason Valerie in his third year, and they are replacing longtime coaches, both coaches who brought great success to the program for 20-plus years. Ed Kirchner for Oviedo and Anthony Long for DP. What hasn't changed, though, is defense carries these teams. The defense might be a little bit different in its subtleties and how the members are employed. But the defense really causing problems for the offense and causing low field goal percentage has not changed with these new coaches. So what a spot for Mason Sheffield to be in. He had yet to score a point before that free throw, missing all 6 shots from the floor. But he does get one of the 2. And DP takes the lead again here as we go 2.5 minutes remaining. And Spencer Rose there gets out of control. Again, that was more having to do with the defense than Spencer Rose not really executing on offense.
Caleb Penellis-Williams gets the basket and a chance to make it a 3-point play. The foul is called against number 21, Jason Miller, his 4th, the team's 7th.
So boy, Williams is now up to 5 points, and what a time to get those points, not scoring much.
Jacob Rose for 3. Haven't seen a lot of those fall lately. Back to a 1-point game.
The Rose, I think they're brothers. Huh? Oh, twins. Oh, okay.
Juno Anisette fades away on a jumper for 2.
And by the way, the Rose brothers are actually twins, but they certainly have lit up. They haven't scored a lot. I believe they've scored actually between the two of them. The Rose twins have scored 14 points, but man, each of those 14 points have been critical and impactful.
Push is called against number 21, Jason Miller. That's his 5th personal foul, and he'll retire from the game with 18 points and 3 rebounds for the Lions.
So
Max Strickland into the game for Oviedo.
So 89 seconds left, Mark, and we see the first result of the attrition with Miller being disqualified for 5 fouls. And DP is going to remain in full court, Oviedo is going to remain in full court man-to-man defense here.
And that foul also puts the Panthers into bonus. At the line shooting 1-1, Mason Sheffield. That is actually number 12, Abdoulaye Thiam.
So some confusion. It appeared that Oviedo was DP was going to have to inbound the ball, and then a foul was called.
So again, in this case, this is not a team control foul.
So as far as individual statistics, Thiam is clearly the star of this game, as he has now put in 35 points, 10 of 18 from the field, 7 of 7 from the free throw line. 19th player, as Oviedo misses, and a brilliant opportunity here for DP to take control finally. Thiam is the 19th player to cross the 30-point threshold in this event's history. And boy, if you didn't think there was a lot on the line, just look at the two coaches, Mark. These coaches
they're both quite animated.
Not only animated, but they are arguing every single call for the last 2 minutes or so. Oh, brilliant move there. Can't get the ball to fall, though. Too hard. Slightly off to the left, causing the ball to go in and out.
Full timeout requested by the Panthers. So here's your game resets. We have neither team with a foul to give, both teams in the bonus. Watching fouls, we have on the Panthers side, Juno Anisette with 4. On Oviedo's side, other than Miller who fouled out, no one has more than 2. As far as timeouts go, we have 2 full timeouts remaining for the Lions and 1 full timeout remaining for the Panthers. Top scorers for Oviedo, J.D. Newman with 12 points, 6 rebounds. Jason Miller, prior to fouling out, had 18 points and 3 rebounds. For the Panthers, Abdoulaye Thiam leads all scorers and has already more than qualified for the Metro versus Florida Hall of Fame with 35 points and 3 rebounds. Juno Anisette is the next leading scorer with 8 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist. Joseph Boventude has 8 points, 1 rebound, and 1 assist as well.
And so, Mark, as we return to action here.
Yeah, I can actually tell you that Thiam's performance now puts him in the top 4, or at least a tie for the top 5 of all time, now that he's up to 35.
And also, keep this in mind, he has scored more points than his teammates combined, 35-29.
Held ball, possession Lions, and so that counts as a turnover because the possession arrow was not in the Panthers' favor.
And on the other side, Oviedo has gotten points from 8 different players. So we'll see how that balance versus a one-man carrying the team, at least as far as the scoring, plays out here, as we're now under a minute.
Out of bounds, Panthers ball, and that was not what Oviedo needed.
Yeah, a lethal mistake there when you're down by 2 possessions. Of course, they still got a shot here if they can hold DP off the board. And I was just going to say, if you're Oviedo, you might want to think about fouling DP immediately after the inbound.
Hold is called against number 10. J.D. Newman is third personal foul of the team's 9th. That will send Abdoulaye Thiam to the line to shoot 1-1. This will be the last time we shoot 1-1.
So Thiam at the line again, 7 of 7 from the free throw line, 10 of 18 from the floor. Again, as you mentioned, 35 points.
They'll make it 36. That now puts him as a tie for 4th place all-time history. I don't think he's going to get to B.J. Taylor's 59.
Yeah, we got to see that game. That was one of those games everything was falling. So 7-point differential. Oviedo needs to come up with some baskets here, obviously, but they don't have much time. And that might just about do it there. Hatch getting that critical rebound, the one that probably is going to secure the victory for DP.
Foul called against J.D. Newman on the hold. That's his 4th personal foul, the team's 10th. And now Juno Anisette will shoot 2.
And I saw Hatch go over and give a high five and shared a smile with Anisette there. It's been a hard day's night to steal a quote from the Beatles for DP here. Of course, as we mentioned, DP, even though they made the FHSAA postseason tournament last year as the district runner-up, it was still a very below par season for them with only a 12-15 record. They're used to winning 20 games. They had a streak of 20+. So to get off to a victory here against another perennial qualifier for the FHSAA playoffs certainly is a great start and makes the world feel a little bit lighter, and thus that smile that was shared between Hatch and Anisette on the last possession.
Foul is called against the Lions. Number 12, Jacob Rose. That's his 2nd personal foul. Shooting double bonus, Anisette.
And so Anisette has 9 points, make that 10. 4 of 7 from the free throw line, 3 of 5 from the field. Again, only half the points were scored by anyone other than Thiam, but boy, those other points were critical and complimentary. And so DP is going to take the victory here, and a much-needed victory for the Metro Conference as well. A nip-and-tuck game is won out by DP with a push there at the end, a 21-14 score in the final quarter, highlighted by Thiam and keyed by Thiam.
Spencer Rose gets that 3 to cap off the game. That'll close it to a 7-point victory. But the Panthers hold on and pick up one for the Metro Conference. 69-62 is your final score here in Game 14 of the 10th Annual Metro vs. Florida Challenge. And included in that is Abdoulaye Thiam with 37 points. He cements his place as the 3rd highest scoring player of all time in the 10-year history of the Metro vs. Florida Challenge. So a Hall of Fame performance by Thiam tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming out to support your Panther and Lion athletes. Thanks also to those of you who joined us online on our YouTube channel, Metro vs. Florida Challenge. We invite you to stay with us. We got one more for you before we go home to the night. The Boone Braves take on the Bishop Moore Hornets. That'll be our nightcap for day 2 in Game 15. Coming up next, for those of you listening online, we'll need you to exit out of this live stream and join us on the next one. And we will get going there in about 10 minutes.